What's up, guys? Tuning in from Sojourner Lake here to talk about Jesus walking on the water. And then we're going to try to walk on the water. Or by we, I mean Jet. Whoever else wants to try. So if you have been reading with us through F260, y'all going to say hello too? You want to say hey, Maddie Brooke? Hey, guys. So if you've been reading with us through F260, then yesterday we actually read through Mark chapter 6. And at the end of Mark chapter 6, in verse 45, it says, "Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had taken leave of them, he went up on the mountain to pray. And when evening came, the boat was out on the sea." Let me show you the sea here. Let me see if I can turn this around. How do you turn this thing around? Look, there's the sea. Not really. It's a lake, but it's kind of fitting. When he went out by the sea, And when evening came, the boat was out on the sea, and he was alone on the land. And he saw that they were making headway painfully, for the wind was against them. And about the fourth watch of night, he came to them walking on the sea. So y'all, they're out in the middle of the sea at sometime between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, our last video was so dark. It would have been even darker than that. So between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning, they're out in the middle of the sea and the caught in this, like, all this wind and not being able to get to where they want to go. And then all of a sudden a guy appears walking on the water close to them. Let me see what would your face look like if that happened to you? Y'all would not be impressed. Would you be scared? Yeah?
Probably.
Maddie Brooke, let me see your scared face. Nice.
I'll be
nice. So, between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning, a guy appears walking on the water. So, he meant to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out, for they all saw him and were terrified. But immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were utterly astounded, for they did not understand about the loaves, for their hearts were hardened. So y'all, imagine this. This story is right after Jesus feeds the 5,000 with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And we should have fed the fish in the video too, but this is right after that had happened. After Jesus feeds the 5,000, he sends his disciples on their way and sends them to a boat while he goes off by himself to pray. And the disciples are so caught up in Jesus feeding the 5,000 that they completely missed the miracle of the fact that Jesus was walking on the water. They were so worried about what that meant and what was going on with that they completely missed the fact that Jesus was walking on the water. But what's really cool is that Jesus saw a problem. He saw that they were being caught up by the wind, and he saw that they were kind of stuck in the middle of the sea. And so he goes to them to fix their problem. He walks on the water to go to them to fix their problem. And whenever he realized that they were afraid, the first thing he says to them is, "Take heart, don't be afraid. It's me." And he got in the boat with them. And as soon as he got in the boat with them, the wind stopped. So y'all, we may not be out in the middle of a sea between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully not. And hopefully not by ourselves either, because that would be crazy. Yeah. But we will be in times where life seems really dark, and we seem really unsure of what's going on around us. And in those moments, Jesus will walk out to us and be with us and tell us not to be afraid as well. So, and he will be with us to help us to overcome whatever it is we find ourselves in. But I think verse 52, it says, "They did not understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened." They were so caught up in other things going on in their lives that they missed what Jesus was trying to do in this situation. And so I think this story can kind of serve as a warning for us too, that every day and every moment we need to be asking God, what do you want to teach me today? What do you want me to learn today? What can I do for you today? So that we don't miss what he has in store for us. And this story too shows just how powerful Jesus is, that he didn't even, we saw last week in Mark chapter, I think it was 4, where Jesus calmed the storm. Let me double check. I think it's Mark chapter 4 though.
Your pages.
I know, they're sticking together. Let's see. Yes, in Mark chapter 4, the very end of Mark chapter 4, Jesus calmed a storm, and he just spoke and told that actually he was asleep while the storm was going on, and he woke up and told it to stop, and it stopped. So we can see how powerful Jesus is, and the fact that he just got into the boat with them and it all ceased. The wind stopped blowing and acting crazy around them shows us just how powerful that Jesus is too. And if he is able to calm a storm and calm wind all around them and make all of that stop, then he can definitely calm whatever's going on in our lives. And he's definitely powerful enough to make his presence known in our lives and comfort us so that we don't have to be afraid. And so just to show how powerful Jesus is, we're gonna try to walk on water here.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Do you know how to turn this thing around? I feel like I'm.
I think you have to end the video.
I may have to end the video.
Ready? Oh yeah. Here we go.
Whenever you're ready. That's a bust.
Didn't work. Ready, go. 3, 2, 1.
So they weren't successful either.
I'm not trying that again. Yeah. You know what? I can walk.
So we can see that we are not capable of doing the things that Jesus is capable of. We do not have the power and authority that Jesus has. And so instead of trusting on our own abilities to get ourselves out of the problems that we find ourselves in, or the situations that we find ourselves in, or the hardships we find ourselves in, instead of trusting ourselves and trusting our ways, we should cry out to God and we should ask for his help and do things his way instead of our own way. And we should, like I said earlier, we should look every day and ask God every day what he wants to teach us that day, so that we don't miss an opportunity to get to know him more, and we don't miss an opportunity to see him at work and see his power at work. So I want to challenge you guys. Mark is a really cool book. There's a lot of different miracles of Jesus throughout Mark, and sometimes we don't think about the miracles of Jesus and just how powerful he was. So I want to challenge you guys every day for the next, it would be cool to do it all summer, but at least for the next week, every day, let's try to read not 2 chapters of Mark, but 2 stories of miracles in Mark. 2 miracles that Jesus did every day in Mark. And let's see how at the end of the week, we're thinking about Jesus a little bit differently. Because sometimes we forget just how powerful he is. And whenever we read these stories and these miracles, these things that he was able to do, it reminds us of the great power that he has. And so I'm going to challenge you guys to read 2 miracles of Jesus every day for the next week. And an extra challenge, an extra dose of challengeness, I don't know if that's a word, but an extra challenge would be to not only read 2 miracles of Jesus every day, but also to share one of those miracles that you've read with somebody every day. Whether that be a loved one, whether that be somebody that lives in your house, maybe it be a friend that you are texting or calling on the phone or Snapchatting or whatever else you guys may be doing. But tell somebody every day about the miracle of Jesus that you've read that day, and see how God uses that as an opportunity to share his love with others around you. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, we will actually be starting services back up. We'll have 2 services on Sunday. If your last name starts with A through M, then we're asking you to come to this service at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday. And this is on May 24th. And if your last name starts with N through Z, then we're asking you to come to the 10:30 service. We won't have nursery. We won't have children's church. We won't have any Sunday school classes or anything. So it'll still be a little bit different than what we're used to, but it'll be so good to see your faces and to give air hugs and whatever else we may have to do for the next little bit. But I miss you guys, so I'm excited about getting to see you soon. And if any of you need anything, please let me know. And congratulations on your last week of school. I think this is most people's last week of school. So hooray, you made it. That's exciting too. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.